All right, let's talk again about some more negotiation. For some reason, and I think you're going to find out why here really quickly, the members of my team refer to me as Pete the Negotiating Ninja. And one of the things that I figured out early on in my career was how to talk to sellers. And through that, I've been able to make nothing deals into something deals. And the way that I'm able to do that is through a couple of small little techniques, and I call them ninja one-liners. You may have seen them before. I believe in some of the marketing pieces, actually, you were able to download some of these things. And a lot of times when people call me, I have certain one-liners that I go to. So for instance, I'm going to go through a couple of them here. In each video, I'm going to go through about 3 or 4 of them. So I'm going to have about 4 or 5 videos that talk about some of these one-liners that I put into play. So the first one is when you're talking to a seller and he comes back and says, hey, listen, I need more for the house. I can't accept your offer. And what you're going to do at that point in time is you're going to say, listen, I'd love to pay you your number. Let's say the guy wanted $50,000 for his house. Say, Mr. Seller, I'd love to pay you $50,000 for your house. Nothing would make me happier. But unfortunately, with this market, I'd be out of business as if I did. Now, there's a couple things that happen here. One of the things that happens is that the seller now starts to understand. It gives him kind of like that, oh, okay. It's almost like you're explaining the reason why you can't pay for the house. So it makes sense to him that he might have to come down in price. I use this one all the time and it works fantastically. And another one here is, I'd like to move very fast. Is that okay with you? You know, there's a lot of different times when someone doesn't want to move very, very quickly. So what I do is that I get all the information from the client and I say that, hey, listen, I'd like to move very fast. Is that okay with you? It does a couple of different things. One, it lets the seller know that you mean business. And it also sets up the seller to be able to make decisions very, very quickly. This is another one that I use all the time. And these types of one-liners come, and what I mean by when they come is as the seller asks me questions or as they have objections with price or objections with getting things done fast, these are the things that I go to. Another one here is, for a quick cash purchase, you're going to have to be competitive with the foreclosure prices. So I have a lot of sellers calling my office and you know, they want a certain value for their house and they want it quick. So it comes down to, okay, if your situation is that you need your house sold very, very quickly, you really don't have all the capabilities to sell your house for a lot more money. So what happens in my office is when I talk to these people, I want to make sure that they understand that in order to get a quick cash offer for their property, they're not going to be getting retail prices. So one of the things that I tell them is hey, listen, if you want to keep your house on the market for 6 or 8 months to get that retail value, go ahead and do that. But in order for us to give you a cash offer right away, you have to be competitive with these prices because these are getting sold. Probably 75% of the properties out there are getting sold as foreclosure properties and undervalued properties, and that's what's moving the market. So these people, you have to educate your clients. Education as far as, hey, this is the market. You know, a lot of people think that their house is still worth what it was 2.5, 3 years ago. And what's happening now is wholesalers and investors is that these homeowners now are starting to understand that those values from a couple years ago are no longer. They see the news. They see all the in the newspaper. They see on the television. I mean, there's more foreclosures right now than at any point in the history of the real estate market. I mean, there's so many out there. So it's very important for us to go ahead and negotiate or actually educate these sellers to let them know what their situation is, because they're just kind of thinking that, hey, listen, my neighbor sold for this price, so I want this same price. And what you're going to have to do is you have to educate them. And these are some great one-liners, that we use to get these people to understand what situation they're actually in, which comes back to the lead sheet. When you're asking these questions on the lead sheet, it's so important to find out what the seller's situation is. It's kind of like going to a court case. And if I'm a lawyer, what I want to do is I want to ask a lot of questions, and I want the seller, or I want the defendant, whoever it is that I'm cross-examining, I want him to come out and talk to me and tell me about his situation. And then what I do is I use those words, I use that situation, and I go back to him with it. So I'd say, listen, you want retail value for your property, but you also want to have your house sold in 3 days and to a cash buyer. Now, you have to give a little bit in one of these instances. So now that seller is looking at you and saying, you know what, you're right. I'm pretty much asking for something that's not possible. And once you bring that seller back down to reality, some of these one-liners start to work. It's worked for me over the years. So let's go through them again. I would love to pay $200,000 for your house, or $50,000. I would love to pay $50,000 for your house. Nothing would make me happier. But unfortunately, in this market, I'd be out of business if I did. So why don't you just kind of reevaluate this and let me know if this is something that you'd like to do. So you're telling him again that you would love to do it, but you just can't. You're justifying your offer. And as you're talking to sellers and as you're getting more confident in talking to these sellers, these one-liners will start coming out. And immediately these people feel like, hey, listen, this guy knows what he's talking about. I trust what it is that he's saying because he's coming at me so quickly with these things. And you're not going to sound salesy. Trust me. I talk to sellers all day long, and these are the same one-liners that I use over the past couple years that have brought in hundreds of thousands of dollars in profits into my business. So that was the first one. The second one is, I like to move very fast. Is that okay with you? Again, you're justifying the time. You're justifying the fact that you're going to go ahead and move quickly, so you expect him to move quickly also. And the third one, again, is for a quick cash purchase, you're going to have to be competitive with the foreclosure prices. That's going to get him down to reality. So he's going to understand, listen, if I want this done quickly, I'm going to have to go ahead and come down to those prices. Those are 3 one-liners right there that are definitely going to help you out. So make sure you go ahead and start to memorize these things, so when situations come up in your phone call, you can go ahead and feel very, very comfortable in saying these things to these clients or to these homeowners, and it's gonna justify your offer, and also it's gonna make you sound like you know what's going on. So I hope those tips help. We got a whole bunch more videos with a whole bunch more one-liners that are sure to get you on top of this business.